Thank you so much for agreeing to this podcast in the first place. I remember it was just, I think maybe 2 weeks ago when we met, and I was just having this conversation with Tracy, and she was so open with sharing, and it's just, oh my God, tell me more. Can you share with us what are your names and what you guys do for a living?
Hi, my name is Han.
My name is Tracy. We are professional landlords and educators. We run a company, Byte Investments, where we teach people how to invest in US real estate. So collectively, we own 26 properties in the US worth over 4 million. Yeah.
So what were you guys doing before you became investors?
I was in the civil sector, civil service.
And Tracy?
Yeah, I was also in the civil service.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember which was the point where you felt like, hey, you know what, I cannot keep doing this, I need to start investing? Or perhaps a better question is, what inspired you guys to start investing?
Like when you go to work, right, it's very labor intensive. You have to go to 9 to 5, then your time is not yours, right? Even after office hours, sometimes your boss will still call you. So I thought, like, there has to be something else. I wanted to work, make my money work harder lah. So with that, then it started me to think about investing lah. Yeah, so that's when I started to explore, read books, and then that's where the whole rabbit hole starts lah. Just go and read and talk to people, go to networking sessions, go to different seminars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just think that like as the longer you work, you will start to gain a bit of seniority, and then as you get promoted, you actually get more work. I mean, it's not just for our company. I believe it's the same at almost everywhere, right? After a while, the expectation is that if you are managerial level, even if you are on holiday, on leave, on weekends, you're still expected to reply to work needs. So I guess it was just not a great feeling to think that for the next 30 years, we'll be stuck like that. Like even while on holiday, we're replying to WhatsApps from our work and stuff like that.
So there wasn't like a one event that made you feel like, I need to stop this, I need to change. It was like more of a gradual, I got to do something different.
Yeah. And I think it's like you don't want to work for life, right? You don't want to work for life. At some point of time, you want to have something else working for you, right? While you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor in that sense. Yeah. So it's always good to have assets that generates income for you while you take a breather.
I think maybe if it's something that is a very big pull factor for us, because it's not easy to do this whole real estate investment thing. So we need a strong pull factor to put in the effort to do it. So it would be that, I mean, we love traveling, but with a job, our leave is limited. I had 18 days a year kind of thing. And then at the same time, as we get older, our knees become worse, our body becomes worse, and we can't do the stuff. We like outdoors, so we like hiking, we like all sorts of outdoor activities. It's not that we're super old, but it's like age is creeping up, and then we're still stuck here. And in fact, we're getting more and more busy as we go on. So I guess it's like a cumulative factor. And then if you wake up thinking that I'm going to be stuck doing this for the next 30 years, then it's really quite painful. That's what I felt.
Right.
Yeah.
How many countries have you guys visited so far?
Wow. Quite a few. Yeah.
Which one was your favorite or most memorable one?
US,
I guess. Because US is quite interesting in the sense that you have different landforms, the different sceneries, right? You have your beach, you have your deserts, you have your mountains. Mountains also got different kind of mountains. There's the greenery mountains and the white mountains, the snow-capped mountains, and the deserty mountains. It's very, very amazing.
Have you guys visited like Yellowstone or?
Yes, we did. It's amazing.
So we were in Yellowstone last year in summer.
Yeah.
And it was really amazing. Every day we would see wild bears.
Bears.
Yeah, black bears.
Up close.
Yeah.
Yes.
With
I'm
cubs.
scared.
I mean, sometimes it's scary. If we are alone, it's scary.
They mind their business, we mind our business.
Yeah. Keep your distance.
Okay.
Mind your distance. Very unique experiences. But especially for nature lovers. Like these are things.
So it sounds like you guys have been to the US multiple times already.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did study there for 1.5 years. And during that time, during the school holidays, I did travel all over the place.
Okay.
And
we have a camper van.
Yeah.
We got a camper van. We have a van and we retrofit into a camper van. Right. So we have bed, we have cooking, we
stuff.
have kitchens, so microwave, stove, showers. You can do everything inside.
Hashtag van life.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
It's very nice. So last year we spent 5 months traveling in the US as well in the camper van.
Yes.
So we travel like all the way from East Coast to
Yeah.
West Coast.
So we see the Atlantic Ocean from Philadelphia, right? And then we drive all the way through Niagara Falls into Canada, Toronto, and then after that we go all the way to the West Coast, to the tip of the West Coast, right? And we go into the first Starbucks and all those places. So
Seattle.
yes, in
Yes,
Seattle. So we
Seattle.
see the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, and then we go back again. So
Oh, that's a crazy drive. How long did that take?
for
2 months.
2 months, 2 months.
Okay, I think that was like a comfortable pace. You didn't feel very rushed, right?
At some point, because we wanted to spend more time in all those very scenic places, Yellowstone, Grand Teton, Badlands. So it's very, very nice there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now looking back, right, was real estate the number one choice for you guys? I mean, like, was this always the obvious thing for you guys, or did you guys kind of stumble into real estate, and especially the US real estate?
I mean, we have experiences in stocks, and they're still good assets to hold. But yeah, to us is especially the US real estate, right, is something that is very different because they are positive cash flow. So you can actually enjoy positive cash flow at the same time appreciation. So you don't have to worry about like paying the mortgage yourself, like using your paycheck, your own labor, your own salary to go and pay for it. The property will pay, the tenant will pay for your mortgage and pay you pocket money. So this allows us to, quit our job and then after that, focus on our business at the same time, do our travels. So typically we will spend like half a year to chung our business, right? And then after that, the other half of the year to travel in the US. Yeah.
But positive cash flow, we can also do that in Singapore, ma. Or like other countries also got positive cash flow. So why specifically the US?
Positive cash, yes, but for the rental yield that you put in, right, you get the best bang for your buck. I wouldn't say US is the best. Works for us, right? Because the rental income is much greater. So we are looking for 12% gross yield kind. Where can you find 12% gross yield? Yeah, there are some places lah. Then at the same time, why did we pick US? US, one is because it has very big rental pool, right? The second is a very big, it has very diversified and pretty resilient market, right? Economy, right? And at the same time, one of the rare things that you can't find anywhere else is the 30-year fixed rate mortgages, which means that if you buy a property and you have a loan, if interest rate goes up,
It's fixed.
yeah,
You're
it's
protected.
fixed. You don't have to maybe 3 years later worry about the rising interest. You don't. Then if it goes down, you can refinance. So actually, no matter how you skin the cat, it will get better in a sense. So like let's say in the best interest rate period, you just refinance and after that you lock in
Another
best
30 years.
Yeah, and you're good in a sense if you don't want to increase your costs, right? Because every time if you refinance after that, then you have your interest costs up lah. So these are some of the factors that helps. There's no margin call. There's no clawback. That's also another thing that we felt more safe lah. Yeah.
Margin call? What do you mean?
So if your property value drop, they won't ask you to top up. So like if you invest in stocks and you leverage, right? You borrow money. If the your asset value goes below your loan value, then the lender will do a call and ask you to top up the differences. In Singapore, the properties, right? If property values drop below your loan, 70% very hard to drop on lah. So it must be a very big crash, almost challenging lah. But let's say if it drops below that, the bank will ask you to top up the differences to protect their interest. Doesn't happen in the US.
I see.
But you got to read your contract properly. You read your loan.
So on average, right, how much is one property in the US and what is your monthly cash flow?
So it varies from state to state, city to city. But those that we choose, we like places like I mentioned, 12% gross, right? So the properties we buy are about like for 3-bedroom landed home. I mean, we always buy a landed home. We don't buy apartments. It's about USD 150K to 200K. And the rent per month will be about 1,500 to 2,000 a month. So that's typically the range.
And that's
we stick
pure,
in.
that's just after expenses, paying your management fees and property
no,
tax.
that's gross. So that's
That's gross.
before.
So
Yeah.
if we talk about net,
But about 30%,
I would
30% of
say
it. Yeah.
after minusing
So
your
I will give the
mortgage.
context for Singapore. So if you buy a 1 mil property, right? You buy for the amount that we are looking at, you buy a 1 mil property, you are expected to generate 10K gross rental income.
To get 12%
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah, so this is the kind of numbers that we are aiming for.
unachievable. I would say unachievable, but that's not realistic numbers in the Singapore box.
Yeah.
$1 million property generating 10K
Yeah.
per month.
It's 150K for 1,005 of per month. So that's one of the reason why we really find it very, very attractive to invest in US.
How was your first property like? How much do you guys spend to get into the first property? Like, what was your upfront investment?
Make a guess.
Wow, I think not fair because I think I read it somewhere or saw it somewhere.
It's okay.
I think 80K, 90K?
51K to buy.
And then another 30K
Then
to rehab?
So we bought it with a tenant. So we rent it out for another 6 more months at 700 plus per month.
So we bought
of
it
rent.
at 51K
Yeah.
all in. That's not the down payment, that's the full price of the house.
Oh, you 51K?
51K.
Yes.
That's the full price of the house.
Why
100%.
was it so much cheaper than everything else?
I mean,
Well,
that
was
was the
this
market at that time. That was the market
Okay
at
lah.
2017.
2020.
2020. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, during COVID.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
during COVID.
That's how the market is. But of course, we fought tooth and nail to get a good bargain.
Yeah.
So we source the deal, right? We do due diligence, and then after that, we negotiate.
Yeah, so that's the part, like the time difference is so big. America is so far away. How do you guys know what to look out for? Like even in the Singapore context, when we're talking about buying an investment property, there's so many considerations already. There's so much complexities that goes on, right? But you guys manage. I mean, obviously the quantum is not as big. Is a much smaller quantum, but obviously there was still a lot of things that you needed to consider, right? What was the process like?
I think it's a bit similar to Singapore and everywhere else in the sense that we assess the sales in the area, right? Like how much a property in this neighborhood of this size sells, like real data, like historically how much are the houses here selling for and how much are they renting for, because you can see what's available on the market. US has a lot of open information, so there's also sources to show real transactions, like how much have houses been really rented for on that street or in that neighborhood.
But here's the thing, like we can have all the numbers, all the information we have, right? But sometimes it still feels like I'll hesitate. Is this really correct?
Yeah.
Or like maybe when you're doing stock trading, or maybe if you're doing a bit of forex, the charts look correct, everything look correct. Should I go in?
Definitely. When we bought the first property at $51,000, it's the biggest check we ever put in one deal, right? Last time maybe do stocks 10K, 20K, 30K, but when you part 51K USD, it's like, oh my God. And then it's like, it's not through some brokerage, no. You literally, in your bank, you wire the money, like you don't even know where it goes, Yeah, so, but how do you get that confidence? Number one is, first thing is, we work for many years already. So that 51K, technically speaking, is if anything were to happen, we're not going to die.
Right. So
We're
you
not gonna-
guys, if this deal tank, you guys were ready to part with that money
Correct.
and take it as a learning lesson.
And at the same time, we took many years to painfully study the market because we know that the yields make sense. We talk to a lot of people. We network through the time difference, right? We talk to all the agents and learn the process of how to buy, how to own, and learn from podcasts like this. There's a lot of things that we learn to help us to be more confident. Then at the same time, the market data is there to give us that validation. So first thing is, your risk is mitigated because, if it's 51K is big still, but as a portfolio, it is something that you can take that risk to try, right? What's the worst case that happen? It's not going to go to $0. You just sell at a loss, right? And then you still take back some. So maybe 10K, 20K loss, worst case. Yeah, then plus a lot of studying of the market and the data to validate. With all this, it really gives you that assurance that it's okay. Then after 2, 3, 4, 5 deals, then you start to, when you see it, you see that success repeating, the confidence is there already. Then okay lah. Then you just know that it's going to happen lah.
So how did the first deal end? Did everything smooth, or were there any major hiccups?
Oh, definitely. So
Okay.
we bought the house at $51,000 for 6 months. We were renting out 700 plus. Oh, I tell you, when we first received the check of $700, that was very life changing. That was very life changing. It's like, wow, like
I'm a landlord.
yeah, I'm a landlord. Then you receive the check. It's like, oh my god, like I didn't do anything.
Even though
and
it's
then
only
you-
700.
yeah,
but
you
still.
didn't do anything and then you get it. So you receive the check at $700 is like life changing like that. Like you felt like good, right? Didn't do anything, and then the tenant is paying. Then like, first thing you do is you go celebrate makan, right?
But I think we are very data driven. So we actually did a lot of research before we bought the first one. So we researched for 3 years. Not just research, but we talked to local people every night, talk to them in their time zone, right?
Or was it just research, or was it also a bit of like hesitancy, like a bit of fear, like
Definitely there's fear. So I think other than research, talking to them, we did fly over one time for like to validate what we researched. So like we researched like this neighborhood should be good, this neighborhood should be not so good. Meet the people that we were talking with online in person. So we did fly over one time. We took like a 3-week trip over there to like sort of validate everything. We did go and see houses when we were there to see like what we see on the photos, then in real life, what is it really
But that was
like?
like after 2 years of research.
That was after 2 years of research to
Okay.
find like where in the US.
Yeah,
we
because
wanna
US is
go.
very big. So you need to know, like, you need to do your due diligence to see which market you want. So after we did our research already, we know which market we want. Still, that one city or two cities is so big that you need to know where in that city that you should invest in. So we really sort of have a map of that area in our head, and we know where are some of the zones that we want, we don't want, some of the places that we're not sure. So then we did the validation. When we go there, we ground recce to confirm this. So we like, okay, we try to flip. So how this place good or not? Okay, not good. How this place good or not? Okay. So those unsure one, we flip to good or not good to
We
confirm.
had like this map and
Yeah.
then we write down all the data
Yeah.
to drive our journey. And even so, that first house at 51K, we bargained a lot for it. So actually,
what was it asking?
Started 90, then 70. Yeah.
yeah. So the houses on that street were going like 80-ish K. So to bargain it all the way down to 51, right? It was already like a risk mitigation for us. Like anything to go wrong, we know that actually houses there are worth
Yeah, we
80.
just dump
So
at
we already
70.
bought it like under value.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, was the owner in? Was it like a what you guys call a distress house in distress?
So
or
it was the house definitely is a bit dated. So there was definitely some work. That's the thing. That's the beauty about US is like everybody has different stage in their life. So for him, he was a bit older. Then I guess he just didn't, and he had quite a few properties. We managed to find out. So I guess that's what he was. I think slowly trying to wind down, rest lah, retire lah in that sense. So that's why we managed to, and it was at the start of COVID. So it was things were a bit meh. Don't know. Lockdown was happening. We managed to use this opportunity to
bring it down,
Yeah.
bring the price down.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we bought it from Singapore anyway. Like we were not there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big question mark. Like how does this work? You know, how do you buy a property in the US from Singapore without even being there? Like
First thing is you need to know which properties are on sale on the market lah. But there's property gurus equivalent in Singapore, in the US. Like there's Zillow, Trulia, Redfin. These are all sites that you Google US properties. These will pop out. You can shop online like that. Then after you shop online already, then you need to do viewing, right? When you do viewing, you just get your agent, you get your realtor, your agent.
FaceTime.
Yeah, FaceTime. Yeah, FaceTime, Zoom Meet, whatever, right? So you can see. Once that is done already, right, the process there is advisable to get a home inspection. And the home inspection is so detailed. They will check every single thing and they're very picky one. They will climb onto the roof, help you check your roof. They will check all the sockets and see which one is working, which is not working, which one is reverse polarity.
Drainage,
Yes, exactly. So they will tell you all
They
these things.
scope into the drainage.
Yeah, then
Test for
your
carbon
water heater
monoxide.
test for carbon monoxide. Yeah, then here rust, there rust, they also will tell you. Then window, double glaze, maybe insulation not good. Then got condensation, they also will tell you. So it's a very, very detailed.
So you use all of that to eventually, your this one spoiled, that one spoiled, then you bring down the
Correct, but
Yeah.
more importantly is they pick things out that we cannot pick out
Right.
ourselves, even if we are there.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like all this gives us that confidence or that safety that we got professionals helping us to check the house before we buy. In that sense, yeah, and it helps with all those problems. It helps to negotiate lah.
And just a small question, right? Side question. How much do you guys pay the agent, the agent serving you guys?
So the market rate is 3%, but we don't pay for it. The seller pays for it.
Oh,
yeah. So it doesn't come out of our pocket to the agent, but technically it's still us because we sell. We pay the seller, then the seller pay the agent.
They are okay, get
So
it. It's quite similar to Singapore,
Yes, correct.
Because
Correct.
it's the sellers that pay, ma.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a money mindset that you had before becoming investors, and what is that mindset that's held you back? Is there a mindset like this, or a belief, a money belief that has held you back?
Yeah, I mean, from young, there are people that will tell you, money is the root of all evil, right? That's why you make more money, you become evil. There are this kind of thinking. Although it sounds archaic, but I believe even till today, there are some families that still have that kind of thinking, and they resonate even though they don't outright speak it. Like, if you are rich, you are doing something evil, you're doing something bad. Another belief is sometimes we try to shortchange ourselves. I think it's a very Asian culture, right? We provide value and say, it's okay lah, 不用啦, right? But if you're providing good value, then you should know your worth, you should know your value. So so I guess this is some of the belief whereby, when you try to sell something, then you also feel bad trying to sell something, then like you thinking you're taking advantage of the situation. But if you're trading for a good value, you should know that you deserve it.
In a sense, the belief is that selling is bad, right?
Yeah, taking money from people is bad. Yeah. But you're giving a service, you're helping them better their life. Either you provide a service, you save them time, right? Or if not, you share with them information, right? You teach them things, then they gain, right? Life-changing knowledge or behavioral changes.
What about you, Tracy?
I think it's very similar. I mean, growing up, I guess I was constantly fed the mindset that, if somebody is successful, it's because they have insider circle, they got strings to pull, they got connections, or they got a lot of money, or the parents very rich. Like, then because of this mindset, you always think, I'm not in that circle, I'm not born from that kind of family. So I will just be like a normal person. Like, I will just go to work every day, live until retire at 65. So you don't even think of getting out.
Right.
Yeah. So like the people you surround yourself with and talk to and learn from is very important.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to be very intentional about choosing the people you mix with, or was it as you became investors, it just naturally people you're hanging out with just became a different set of people?
I guess the latter, because it's the interest, right? You have a certain interest and then you go to those events or activities, networking sessions, or like talk lah. When you talk to people, then hey, you also invest, I also invest. Then you talk, then you start to learn from all these people. Then you hang out with all these people more often because you enjoy the discussion, you enjoy the growth, you enjoy the support, you enjoy the camaraderie. As opposed to some people that not sync with you, right? Then you just that bond, that understanding, is not there. So then the vibes you then so it's naturally, slowly. You don't intentionally pick them. Yeah.
Were there close friends you've had before and slowly just stop talking? I mean, not on purpose, but it's just that you guys are on different paths now.
Even without this thing that we are doing, people have their families, they have their life. I guess we still keep in contact with most of our friends that are quote unquote different. Sometimes Happy New Year.
Greetings,
greetings. Yeah, or if not, when they post something on Facebook and it's you find it nice and you just comment and you just share, then maybe that translates to WhatsApp. Then you just catch up more often. But that's it lah. Because they have their priorities, you have your priorities. Yeah.
Talking about friends and family, I think a question I want to ask you guys is, what did they think about whatever you're doing in the US? At first, when you first shared with them, what was their reaction?
You xiao you jump off the cliff. That was literally what my dad told me. Nah, I mean, I'm not talking bad about my dad. My dad is awesome. He just felt that it's too foreign and there's a lot of risk that you don't know. But I think it's not just him actually. A lot of people, the first thing they tell us is very risky, very risky, very risky. So you ask them, what is the risk? What is risky? You say, very far away. Then we will say, but far away is not the risk, right? What is the risk? Then they'll say, oh, you cannot see, you cannot touch the house. But then you think about it, when you buy like stocks, let's say you buy US stocks or any stocks, even DBS stocks, even Singapore stocks, you also don't have control over it. You are not the one running it. You cannot control it. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. What is the difference? Actually, the difference is you trust the team managing it. Like maybe you trust DBS management. So it's the same for us. I think when we buy US property, like we always tell people, the first thing you do is not go to the marketplace and look for houses. The first thing you do is you build a team. Build a team.
Find a market first. And
build a team
that
in
market,
the market.
yes, build a team. The market is the one that helps you grow, right? And then after the team is the one that makes you realize the intended return. Then you go and find the property. A lot of times we see the other way around. Let's say they buy overseas property. They find this one wonderful deal that looks good on paper. Then they go and buy, like, wow, damn cheap. Wow, that condo, 100K only. Then all the problems come, like, management don't do a good job, or if not, then realize, hey, rental cannot find rental and all those things. Yeah, so the market is the most important. You find a market where there's healthy demand for the kind of property price that you're buying, right? Where the locals, the commoners are buying and renting out at the price. You need to know all this information before you go and buy anything.
So Tracy, you're talking about a team, right? So who's in the team and what do they do? And then for Han, right, I want to ask this before I forget. You say you need to start the market, right? So what's the starting point for you guys? What is the things that you are looking out for?
So market, right, because we are into cash flow, so we need to find markets that can meet the numbers, the cash flow. So the rent to price or the rental yield, the median rental yield must be able to match. If the median rental yield is not going to match, right, then it's very hard to find those numbers that's going to meet. Then we want growing market, right? The market must be growing. What does growing means? It means like jobs are growing so that more people will go into that market. Then because more people go, then there's housing demand. And then we also look for diversification of economy. Right, you don't want one trick pony. When that employer, if anything were to happen to the employer, either they moved out or they don't do well, they start to lay off people, then you have a very big job loss in that market. So you want to have very wide diversification of different industries, different companies and stuff like that.
Right, so let's say if it's a chip making town, right, and if they move away, at least it's not all the jobs are lost.
Correct. You want like maybe some banking, some manufacturing, some healthcare and all these things. Correct. Yeah. So you want a diversified economy. Then another thing is, in Singapore we don't see it, but when you go to larger countries, then you have your natural disasters, earthquake, your tornadoes.
So you avoid all.
Yeah.
What was your risk tolerance? Because like earthquakes and tornadoes are...
We avoid them.
It's quite...
It's not everywhere.
So really, you mean there are some places that completely don't have?
Yeah. Yes. Singapore don't have what? Yeah, so you got to find these places. So like, California, right? It's very prone to earthquakes and wildfires. Yeah, wildfires. So we will avoid these kind of places. Even though it may be a very, very good market, we will avoid. Why? Because to us, it's like what Jensen Huang said, it's like playing computer game. The goal to finish is to survive first. So you need to survive. So you survive, then you can have enough rounds to play to clear to the next round.
And I also heard from Tracy, like California is not very landlord friendly, right?
Yeah.
It's the laws are like you can miss your rent for like don't know how many months and then
you can't do anything. Correct. You got to wait for the legal system to process through while you're incurring. So the next pointer that I want to share as part of the factors that we see is like we want to make sure that the policies, right? The policies is very landlord friendly, right? It protects. I think Singapore is pretty landlord friendly, right? Then of course the government is pro business. They go and attract jobs like Singapore's Spring, right? EDB. They go and attract MNCs to come in and grow in that city. So we want to look at all these things.
Okay. And so Tracy, talking about the teams, right? Who's in the team? What do they do?
For example, your real estate agent, right?
Mm.
Because it's very important for us. We are not there to view, so we do the video calls to view, right? You need someone aligned with you, someone willing to, because obviously it's slower than bringing a physical person there to see for themselves. So we must find agents that are aligned with us, like they're willing to go slowly, show us every nook and cranny, like things that we can't see on video. Is there smell? Is the floor slanted? All these kind of things. We need them to tell us. And like not all agents are aligned. Some of them, if we ask all these kind of questions, they get fed up and then they actually ghost us. Like we have been ghosted by agents before because they just think it's too much
There's
work.
too many problems.
Yeah, like these people ask so many questions, right? So we are Chinese, so we are like more kanchong, so we ask a lot of questions. So can you look at the roof? Can you see any wet spots, any leaking? Can you zoom out? Can you try to look on top of the roof? You know, like then some people don't like it. So we need someone that's aligned with us. That's similarly for property managers. Like once you buy, you want to pass to a property manager to help you lease out the house. All their contracts are different. So for example, some of them charge more, some of them charge less. Some of them charge you even when the house is vacant. Some of them give you lower leasing fees. So it's all different. So you actually have to compare. We compared like almost 20 of them, talk to all of them to try to see like who is more in sync with
So
our
you're
needs.
saying you set up the team first and then, what is it?
Yeah,
Market
because if
first
not,
or
if you-
team first?
Market first.
Market. Because you must find the team in the market. So you have to choose the market. Because US is so big, like 50 states, and in one state, there are multiple cities. And the size of one city is like one whole Singapore. So think about it, there's 50 states, and inside each state, there's many Singapores. So it's super big. So one team can't serve the whole US. One team only serve that
Local
city,
area.
yeah. So you need to choose the market first. Then you find a team inside there. And we will find a team before we find a house, because if not, who's going to do your walkthrough with you? Who's going to manage your property? You buy, then you got nobody to pass to. And I mean, we have been screwed by property managers quite a few times as well. So we know that
Oh, what did they do?
things like you just don't get the rent from them and you don't know what's going on, or they choose bad tenants. They choose tenants that come in and straight away the next month don't even pay, you know, that kind of stuff. We did experience all these like pains at the start, but then, you know, through it, we come up with systems and processes. How do we avoid this next time? How do we avoid this next time? To the point that now after like 26 properties, like those problems that we faced before, we don't get them again because we just figure out ways to overcome it. Yeah.
So this brings me to the next point, which is bite-sized investments. That's the name of the company that teaches people who want to learn how to invest in the US, correct?
Yes.
So can you share more about this program that you have? And what does it help people who are looking to invest in the US do? What can they learn from it and that kind of stuff? I think a good place to start is with the BRRRR method, the BRRRR framework, right?
Yeah.
Can you share more about what that is?
You want to share?
Right.
Okay, so the BRRRR, it's BRRRR. It's a very common way that US investors invest in property, and it's also what Robert Kiyosaki does. But I guess it's not very well known outside the US. So what it does is the first B is to buy. But the key about buying is we always buy under value. So like we mentioned, like the first house we bought, right? The area is actually 80, but we managed to buy at 50. We always want to buy under value. And the reason why we get it under value is because, like we said, the condition is not so good, but it's not so bad that your risk is very high during the renovation. It's just not new, not updated. Like
dated.
carpets are sticky and mucky and stuff like that. So we buy under value. The first R is to renovate. You put in some fixers. So for example, for that house, we bought a 51K. We spent quite a lot of renovation. At the same time, because it was our first one, we think we did overpay for renovation, not knowing like what it should be. So I think we spent about 30K. That included changing everything, like all the floors, the kitchen cabinets totally changed, toilet totally changed, paint all new. And subsequently, we even replaced the roof, the whole roof. So it's quite a lot, but still we think we overpaid a little bit. But anyway, so we spent...
Luckily, you guys bought it undervalued. So
yeah. So when we bought it
it could have been way more.
yeah. So when we bought it at 51K, it was renting for like 700 a month. It sounds low, but that's actually more than a 12% gross rental yield a year. Then after we spend the 30K on renovation, so means altogether we have spent 50 plus 30, right? So about 81K.
Guess the rent.
Yeah. Then the rent went up to
1,001.
1,100.
That first property.
Yes.
Yes.
So today is renting for 1,375.
So the 81K. So that's the second R, right? So you buy, renovate, then rent. So now after you renovate, you can rent it out at a higher price
Your rent has almost doubled.
Yes.
in 5 years, yes. 4 years.
Yes.
No complaints from tenants, nothing.
That's
I
the
mean,
market rate.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing about US, right? Because we say there's very strong rental demand. Because in US, half the population is renting. It's a different culture from Singapore, where Singapore, everybody wants to own a home. But in US, everybody by default rents. I mean, the reason is the country is so big, they work out of state, they are constantly traveling. So there's not a very strong culture to like buy houses. So the rent demand is very high. And because of that, if you check what's the historical rent growth in the US, you can find it on Google or whatever. You'll see the chart is like just rent is going up like over the past 50 years kind of thing. But if you search the same for Singapore, it's more flatline. The reason is just because here it's not so many renters as the US, where the culture is different.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, there's this question I think some people might have, which is, if you are doing so well, if you're making so much money, why do you want to teach? You know, this is one of the most common questions
Yeah.
people always get, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you want to share like how bite-sized investments came about.
So let me finish the BRRRR, then I'll go to that because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
related.
correct. Yes.
Right. So buy, renovate, rent. So you rent much higher. The fourth one is refinance. So refinance a bit different. Most people think that refinance is you refinance your loan to like a lower interest rate or to whatever interest rate because you need to refinance. What we do is a cash out refinance, meaning let's say we bought the house for 50K, we renovate for 30K, so we spend 80K. Then after renting it out, then we go to the bank and then we ask the bank, can you evaluate my house, like give it an appraisal value, and then loan me something up as my house as collateral. So for that house that we spent 81K, this was just 1 year later, I think, from when we bought it. The bank said it's worth like 140K. They will give you a 60 to 70% loan out of it. So in a way, they'll give you 60 to 70% of 140K out of it. So in that way, I think we took back like almost our whole 81K out of it. And the last R, which is the most important.
Just to add the context.
Yeah.
So that was refinance. That was cash out refinance in 2021, I think.
Yeah.
2021. And then this year we took another cash out refinance
On the
again.
same
On the
house.
same
On the
home.
same house. Guess the valuation this time round?
170, 180.
200.
Oh,
So the first cash out refi, we took 70K out. The second cash out refi, we took 110. Yeah, we took 110. So that's how you can use the property like an ATM like that.
So in Singapore's context, how you really make money from a property is from your capital appreciation, and if you're renting out your rental, right? But from what you guys are saying, that means in the US there is one more way to get cash out of the property, which is not even by selling it, it's just
Correct.
constantly refinancing it.
Yeah.
Correct.
So like every 5 or 10 years, as the property value goes up, you can like take a loan out of that value without selling it.
Yes.
So that's how you monetize
That's crazy.
and don't sell it.
And the beauty is Singapore, right? They also can do cash out refinance, except that monthly mortgage will be likely higher than the rental income, so you become negative cash flow. But in the US, if you do your sums properly, you can do this infinite number of times as long as the rent can cover the mortgage. So you can just keep doing and doing and doing, and rent keep increasing.
Yeah, like that house is today 1,300.
75.
something
Right, and
Yeah.
that's the
in
reason
rent.
why you guys could
Yes,
refinance
correct.
it, cash out
Correct.
refinance again.
Yeah. So that brings us to the last R, which is most important, which is repeat. Because when you get the cash out refinance money, which is like tax-free money because it's a loan, right? It's actually debt. So this is what Robert Kiyosaki loves to say. Tax-free money comes into your bank. You take that and then you buy your next house. And then you repeat the whole thing again. So we were doing this ourselves quietly, right? And then after we managed to quit and travel around, a lot of people ask us, hey, how you do it? Can you teach me? A lot of them ask us out for like coffee, for lunch, and then they spend like 3, 4, 5 hours trying to ask us, and we keep repeating the same thing again and again. And Han has always been very passionate about teaching people on like financial
Sharing,
education.
yeah.
Like since long ago, he has been very passionate about it. So we thought, why not we create an education program for it, since it's something that it seems to be in demand. Like a lot of people are asking, and nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is doing the BRRRR from like not in the US on such a scale, or nobody's teaching it at least. So we learned it ourselves, like how to do it remotely. We learned it from US people who are doing it while they're there, but we figured out how to do it remotely, right? So we thought like, why not we create this education program? And that's how Byte Investments started. It is a passion project.
And to answer why don't we quietly do it, I think ultimately we don't have unlimited money. We have unlimited quote unquote from the cash out refi as long as we keep repeating it, doing correctly. But there is lull period where you need to let the property season and you also want to rest, you don't keep doing it. Yeah, so we realized we can't buy all the deals out there, right? So but then there are good deals. So that's where we decided, hey, okay, since I cannot buy, then you can share with other people the knowledge. Then if they want to buy, they can do it. And you grow the community in that way.
I wanted to go back to this very potentially taboo word, right? A lot of people, when you say the word debt, right? So, but you said debt like, oh my God, I love it. It's so good.
It's a mindset
tax-free money, right? Can you share like, what's your perspective on debt, like for the both of you?
It's good debt, bad debt. If a lot of people that are around us today here sees debt bad, is because it's bad debt. You take the debt and you're negative. The
Negative
more you
cash
take,
flow.
the more negative you are.
Yeah.
Right? But for us, it's like, let's say very bad one. You borrow at 20%, but if you can make 100%, will you take more?
Take.
Yeah. Then of course the next thing is, then what is your risk? Are you over leveraged? So like we mentioned just now, there's no margin call. So you at least don't have to have a big chunk of reserve to make sure that if anything were to happen, there's margin call, right? Secondly is, how would you then lose the asset? So it's only when you stop paying the debt, your mortgage. So you stop paying your mortgage, then the lender will claw that away. So you just need to make sure, number one is positive cash flow, right? So you don't have to worry if you lose your job, then you cannot pay for this. Secondly is you have reserves. You have reserves such that if, let's say, no tenant, then you can continue to still finance it until you find a tenant, right? And of course, the other things comes into play. You buy correctly with the right numbers in place. So then it allows you to then be a bit more sure. So that's how we are able to be more confident with our risk taking in that sense. And I guess if you look at the successful people, the rich people in the world, they do deploy a healthy amount of debt, but they use it very wisely.
So very quickly, right? Because we're running out of time. What is something that you would be able to do if someone signs up for your program? Like, what is the biggest thing that you will help them achieve if they were to sign up for your program?
Buy cash flow property passive income
Okay.
The program, we put in a lot of effort into this program because we also attended a lot of like property investment courses for whether it's US one, online one, whatever. And we always find that at the end, there is either a lot of upsell or there's no actionable step you can take. Like everything is very, wow, looks cool. Okay, but then how do I do it? So for us, I guess coming both of us from a science and engineering background, we sort of develop a program to be very actionable. We provide step-by-step flow chart, real life examples, screenshots of our real contracts, our real emails, our real templates, our real conversations. How do you negotiate? How do you even bridge the cultural gap between us and the US? Because if we work with our Asian mindset, right, you probably chase a lot of the US people away because it's very different.
So when they join you guys, do they get one-to-one timing with you guys, or like if they have any questions, how does that work?
So I'll just cover a bit more about the program first. What was covered is we have a module on mindsets because we believe mindsets is the most important. If you have the wrong mindsets, then you will be taking the wrong actions. So first is mindset. Secondly is where to find.
How do you find the market? Which is what we talked about earlier.
How you find markets. Then after that, how do you run your numbers? Like a lot of times we realize people buy properties, they don't know their numbers, right? They don't run their projections. So you need to run your projections. You need to run your numbers. So that's the third module. Fourth module will be what's the process of buying, right? Fifth is like who's in your team? How you go about finding your team, how you talk to them. 6 is how you manage your portfolio. Then 7 is how you exit, right? If you need to exit. But there's many ways of exiting, like what we shared. You can sell, which we don't think
Don't
is
lah.
the best. Yeah. So it's about refinancing,
Yeah.
right? So these are some of the examples. Then, so this is some of the whole complete loop. Of course, we have a bonus here and there of sharing our own personal experience. So that's what's in the program. Then what we throw in is we have group coaching, 3 complimentary group coaching. And then after that, we'll give 1 complimentary one-on-one coaching where if they have more questions, like you go school to study, that's the masterclass. And then after that, sometimes you want tuition. And that's when you come for the coaching session to go and top up whatever things that you want to clarify more. Yeah.
So realistically speaking, if today, let's say I want to invest, but I don't have 50K US in my bank account, can I still do this?
Yes, you can. In the US, there's this thing called private money lending, hard money lending, where if you run your numbers properly and you're confident with your deal, then for a small fraction, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% of whatever that you want to buy. So if let's say the deal is 50K, you put 10, 20%, then you can always get the loan. Then at the same time, you don't have to buy all cash, right? So let's say it's a 150K property, then you can always get a purchase loan, get a bank loan to finance it at 30% in that sense. Yeah, so it's possible, but ideally we always advocate, don't take excessive risk. Buy with prudency, run your numbers, and
You
then
cover all this in your cost lah.
yeah.
Okay. So one final question. If you guys could restart and do everything differently again, what would you do differently?
Buy more, start earlier.
Yeah.
I tell you, when we started researching this 2017 to 2019, the market that we chose, the 3-bedroom houses were all anyhow close eye throw stone 60K, 70K. And then
12% gross.
now it's like 200K.
Yeah.
So it's really, really different. When
we first bought, I was like telling her, hey, wait, don't buy so fast, don't buy so fast. So we actually we were not very fast in our purchase.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference I would say, right? We would have bought more. And I think this is the same thing for everyone. It's like the Singapore property, like 20 years ago, 20 years now, what would you do, right? If you know
on
this.
hindsight, you would like, yeah.
Yeah, what would you do 20 years ago if you know what is happening now? You buy
If
more,
you know
right?
the price of today, what would you do 20 years ago?
Yeah, you buy more.
Yeah.
And like, I think for the kind of houses we buy, so we buy the very, very normal house, not high end, not beachfront, not like luxurious condo, very, very, very normal kind of houses. So in a way, we feel that it is a hedge against recession because everybody always needs a place to stay.
Yeah.
So even in recession, when people lose their jobs and everything, they still need a place to stay. They can sell their car, they can sell their iPad, they won't give up their rent because then they have no shelter over their head.
Yeah.
So we buy the very, very normal middle
For the
income
everyday
house.
person.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
And
there'll
average
always
people.
be demand. There'll always be demand. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just should have bought more. That's all.
Good advice. Once again, thanks for agreeing to this interview. I think there was way more to cover, but I think we covered as much as we can lah.
Yeah, adjourn to lunch and
Yeah.
talk more, chit chat.
But,
more.
but
yeah.
thanks for
No,
the
but we want to
opportunity.
share with. I don't want to be the only one receiving the information, ma. So that was the whole purpose of this podcast in the first place, lah. But yeah, I think it went pretty well. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
again
Thanks,
for-
Lucas.